Hello and welcome to extending and modernizing your business using Azure VMware Solution. My name is Eric, and today I'm going to be talking about how to migrate your applications that you run today on VMware on-premise to Azure within Azure VMware Solution, or AVS. You know, when I talk to customers, we see a variety of migration drivers and triggers that determine their cloud path. You know, especially in this past year, we've seen an amazing acceleration of digital transformation that's driven a lot of rapid cloud migration. Organizations have risen to new challenges, including distributed workforces, increasing the need for business continuity, meeting the needs for elasticity and demand, and growing pressure to innovate and compete with a new wave of startups. At the same time, organizations still face the challenges of legacy infrastructure, their existing platforms, platform diversity, and vast compliance, security, and privacy requirements. You know, as we look to help customers build their own digital capability to drive resilience and growth, grounded in consistency and trust, for some businesses, there are persistent challenges that we hear. The need to migrate to the cloud quickly or to expand capacity rapidly, the need to reduce costs, complexity, and the risk associated with large-scale projects, and the importance of minimizing having to create new processes and leverage the skills and people that you already have. So at Microsoft, we've long had a focus on these considerations. Microsoft Azure has been designed from the beginning to help customers reduce cost and complexity and improve reliability and efficiency. We recognize that there is no one-size-fits-all way to embrace the cloud. With Azure, we're increasingly committed to meeting our customers where they are today and giving them the ability to embrace the cloud at their pace, and in many cases, utilizing the platforms that they already use on-premise today. So Azure takes a comprehensive approach to building infrastructure designed for every workload, and that means choice and flexibility for your IT environment now, and as it evolves and modernizes and is enhanced over time. So whether you're looking to run modern applications, business-critical workloads, and scale the environment, leveraging Azure native services like IaaS and PaaS services, or you're looking to modernize your applications through integration with Azure services, you know, from AI to security to machine learning, and take advantage of the management and security functions of Azure, or increasingly, you're looking to take advantage of purpose-built Azure infrastructure dedicated to supporting your existing solutions and platforms as they exist today. Azure is there for all of those. We know that everything running on premises today can seamlessly run in the so-called native cloud fabrics, and many of the critical applications that customers use today on-premise are tied to these specific hardware and software platforms, and they really aren't part of what we think about as being the cloud today. You know, not everything can run on an x86 virtual machine. And even those that can are often tied to a particular software-defined platform or hardware platform, specific runtime, networking, or management environment. And while there are certainly benefits to going cloud native, there's also a cost to rewriting those applications and retraining your folks. And we found that for most businesses that want to embrace the cloud in a variety of ways, you know, they really want to do some net new engineering, taking full advantage of modern native cloud capabilities, and they want to do some so-called lift and shift to the cloud on their existing platforms to realize cloud economics without having to rewrite or retrain. You know, there's a ton of sessions online and throughout Ignite on how Azure is the business and mission critical cloud. I'm not really going to get into that here. But in addition to supporting modern native applications, Azure is increasingly about supporting today's platforms in the cloud. You know, providing platform symmetry with what customers are using on-premise today, and where appropriate, not only for migration, but for things like bursting as workloads, you know, end of quarter type things, disaster recovery, and so on. And that's what my team does at Microsoft. My team is called Azure Dedicated. We do all the specialized workloads in the cloud on Azure that are specific hardware or software platforms that really focus on providing symmetry in the cloud with the dominant platforms people are using on-premise. So I'm really introducing Azure VMware Solution, our comprehensive VMware environment in Azure, as the platform that allows customers to run their native VMware workloads on Azure. The first point I really want to make is that AVS is Azure. I often say it's just another flavor of Azure Compute. And the solution runs on Azure in our data centers, and customers can benefit from the scale and region diversity that Azure provides and all of the native capabilities that Azure itself provides to so-called native services can be used on AVS. And this is really, truly a Microsoft first-party service. It's sold and supported by Microsoft in partnership with VMware. VMware and Microsoft have been working side by side throughout the development of AVS. First, it's really a comprehensive VMware environment. It's a full VMware Cloud Foundation suite that includes vSphere, vSAN, HCX, and NSXT. The goal here is to really provide a seamless experience to run, manage, and secure your applications across VMware environments and Microsoft Azure within a common operating framework. And this means that we've done work to integrate AVS into the Azure portal to the maximum extent possible, including symmetry of things like scripting and command line interfaces that you might be familiar with native Azure VMs. And it also includes the ability to make the most of your existing VMware environments, skills, tools, while leveraging the scale, performance, and innovation that comes with the Azure cloud. When I speak to customers, this really translates into 4 key benefits. The built-in continuity, speed, and scale for VM workloads on Azure's global and worldwide infrastructure, the ability to leverage your existing VMware investments across your skills, tools, experiences, including things like VMware, vSphere, vSAN, vCenter, and all of those tools. The ability to modernize your VMware workloads or enhance them over time by integrating with native Azure services, and the ability that's unique to Azure to take advantage of our unmatched pricing and licensing benefits for Windows Server and SQL Server workloads that run on VMware. We understand that the best way to support our shared customers is with solutions they're running today, and to do that through great partnerships. Microsoft and VMware have a history of being competitors, but increasingly today we are really becoming true partners. It's a partnership that has only grown stronger over the last few years as VMware's aspirations and Microsoft's aspirations about working together on a cloud journey become more aligned. Together we've enabled thousands of our customers spanning all the segments, geos, and verticals to have great outcomes for their organizations. And with AVS, we've taken that collaboration to kind of a new level. It's really a great testament of that success and that partnership that Microsoft has been recognized for the past 2 consecutive years as the VMware Global Partner of the Year for Technology Innovation. And this is on the back of a lot of hard work together. For those that followed our announcement last year, we went to general availability with the solution in 4 regions initially, and we did that perhaps sooner than most Azure services would have because we wanted to get it out there in the hands of customers as rapidly as possible. I'm excited to announce today that we're now available in 10 Azure regions globally. We've extended to Canada, UK, Japan, and Singapore, in addition to US East, West, Europe West, and Australia. And this global expansion continues as rapidly as we can do it. Our goal here is to be in essentially every Azure region by the end of the calendar year. As we've touched on, one of the important things for customers is, how easy is it to get started, on their migration journey to AVS. In previous sessions, we spent time discussing, these first 3 pillars of their cloud journey, identifying the typical use cases. Why am I moving to the cloud? How quickly do I need to move to the cloud? The specialist programs offered to support customers in planning and deploying their movement to the cloud. And then the actual migration of VMs from an on-premise VMware environment to the new VMware environment on Azure using tools such as HCX. But today I really wanted to focus more on the last 2 pillars. One of the most significant benefits for customers we see is the ability to keep using the VMware tools they know while gaining the resiliency and elasticity of the Azure infrastructure. In the manage and operate stage, virtual machine management continues to be a consistent experience, just like you're familiar with on-premise. And IT teams can now easily dial up capacity as required while taking confidence in the fact that the service is backed by high trust, ISO, and other industry-leading certifications. And once customers have shifted their VMware workloads to AVS, they can then begin to modernize them with a seamless connection to other Azure services. Integration with Azure management, security, storage, networking, backup, these help customers optimize those workloads, create cost efficiencies, and simplify the operations of some of their applications moving to the cloud while taking advantage of the fact that their VM workloads are now running in Azure. Now, the great thing here is that with AVS, this approach to modernization or enhancements of your VMware workloads can happen at the pace you want incrementally over time while leveraging your investment in VMware. So we have some great examples of some of the integrations that our customers are looking at today and some of the work that my team has done to kind of bring you the best of both worlds. I'd like to introduce Divya Kamath. She's going to take us through some specific integration examples between VMware VMs that have been migrated to AVS and in the specific example of Azure Security Services, bringing those security benefits to bear on those AVS VMs. And in particular, I'd like you to maybe pay attention to how easy it is to switch back and forth between, say, vCenter, the experience that people with VMware estates are very familiar with, and the Azure portal, and how you have the seamless view between those two experiences. And so without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Divya. Over to you.
Thank you, Eric. As Eric mentioned, AVS is the fastest way to get into Azure. Once you onboard to AVS, it's seamless to modernize your business applications using Azure native services. Let's talk about security as an example. As we all know, the threat landscape is getting increasingly complex and sophisticated. Never has security been so critical. Security teams are often overwhelmed with increasing amount of threat signals, and often those solutions are not well integrated, which slows down the response rate. Today, I'm going to cover how you can protect your workload VMware VMs inside AVS into Azure Security Center and its integrated services, so you can have a unified experience of managing your security infrastructure management and stay compliant at the same time. Let me walk you through this architecture layout. To start, we have this VMware vCenter, and my workload VMs are running. We have Log Analytics agent running inside the SDDC along with Defender. The job of this agent is to listen to your user activities. It collects the syslogs. It collects your perf metrics. It watches your traffic between VM to VM, your internet out, internet in, and then it sends those signals to Log Analytics workspace in the monitor. Now, this unique workspace is mapped to this agent, and they're constantly talking to each other. So this the workspace then communicates or sends the signals to other services like Update Management, Security Center, and your Azure Sentinel, and then to rest of its ITSM systems. Now let me log into the VMware vCenter console and show you how I've configured my agent. Here are my workload VMs running, and this is where I configured my Microsoft monitoring agent. This agent talks to the Log Analytics workspace in Azure Monitor. Along with this, we have Defender agents linked with the workspace agent. So the Azure Defender provides security alerts and advanced threat protection from SQL DBs or web apps running inside your virtual machine. It also monitors your network traffic. Here I can configure my event logs of my choice. I can configure perf counters, syslogs, IS logs. For now, I have configured application and system logs. Now I have done my basic plumbing. Now let's log into Security Center. Now what does Security Center do? It provides a unified security management system, and it provides a scoring of your posture. And based on the data that the agent has sent to the Log Analytics workspace, The Azure Security Center has picked those data and has run its insights and has done a scoring. Here I can see my scoring is around 29 out of 64. My compliance state is as follows. Looks like I'm low on stock. And I can then get into my inventory tab. So here in this tab, I see that my two of my virtual machine that I showed in the vCenter list here. And the recommendations are shown as follows. Let me click on one of the virtual machine. Looks like I have some high alert on system updates to be installed. I see some vulnerabilities and so forth. With this, I need to go and install updates. So what I do is I go to Azure Update Manager. Now, what is Update Manager? This provides an automated configuration service of workloads to stay updated and compliant. And these are patches that are pushed to the update management. And it not only just has the patch available to you, it also picks the virtual machines that was detected by Security Center. It has the same view here. And if you see the two virtual machine that we detected from vCenter to Security Center, and then the update manager has picked up that these VMs are non-compliant and the following patches needs to be applied. So I go and click the security VM here and I run this real-time query to see what patches are missing. And if I increase the screen, and looks like I have some critical patch that I should apply. So what I'll do is I'll come back to the update manager and I will schedule and deployment the window of my choice. Now that I have demonstrated how easy it is to configure the agent in the vCenter, these agents are basically listening to all the events, sending to the workspace. From workspace, we have the security center doing its scanning and scoring and recommending what needs to be done. And the update manager also understanding which VMs need what type of updates and providing you a window of choice of applying. So I will then shift my gears to talk about threat analysis. Now, let me demonstrate how Azure Defender helps us in capturing real-time threats and send the signal to Sentinel. Here, I'm logging back to the vCenter, and I pretend logging into one of my VMs with a wrong password thrice. And let's see what happens. Password incorrect. One more time. I will now log into Sentinel. Come back to my portal. And look at my incidents. I refresh my tab. If you see, I got an alert here that the login failure. I go click on this alert and it's a medium severity. I can change it to high and I can assign to myself as an incident manager. Now, what does the Sentinel do? Sentinel is the security information and event manager, your SIM platform that uses the built-in AI to help analyze the large volumes of data across enterprises. It does this analysis and it takes us the false positives or negatives and gives you the real-time alert that is actionable by your team. This is where the incidents are listed and then you can take action. Now, with that, I wanted to conclude to say how easy and seamless is to collect, detect, investigate, and respond all in one place. Once you onboard AVS, keeping up with security has never been so easy. You don't have to learn any new skills and you can focus more on your core business. Thank you. Over to Eric.
Well, thanks, Divya. That was really great to see. I really loved to see the integration there between vCenter and the Azure portal and how they both work seamlessly with AVS. You know, when I look at the customer momentum we've seen to date, it's been really great. We've seen rapid adoption of AVS, really because our customers can address their immediate business requirements while supporting their long-term cloud migration strategies. I want to call out a couple of examples from the customers that I've engaged with. They're leveraging AVS today and why they made the decision to adopt Azure in this way, using AVS. The first one is a large enterprise business with over 50,000 employees. They needed to exit their data centers quickly, and the business they have is globally distributed across a variety of geographies, and so they had the need for cloud capabilities in multiple geos. AVS, delivered the ability for them to accelerate their migration of VMs to Azure within the VMware environment, in order to achieve this rapid data center evacuation. The ease of AVS also ensured that they could free up and allocate resources that they would otherwise have spent on, porting or migration to so-called native Azure to apply to other strategic cloud modernization efforts and to do so efficiently. AVS helped them reduce their infrastructure management overhead, their IT platform costs. It gave them flexibility in terms of right-sizing their capacity to the needs of their applications. And it removed the need for kind of physical environment maintenance, patching and monitoring, as well as keeping track of VMware licenses, because that's provided as part of the AVS service. We also created an opportunity for them to take a new approach to things like disaster recovery, security, and privacy, improving their overall IT resiliency and reliability. Another example is a large global manufacturing organization. This customer also had the need to exit their data center to improve their IT infrastructure, technical debt, and security posture. They initially targeted moving 80% of their systems hosted across 5 data centers to AVS, and AVS provided them the opportunity to migrate to Azure in a very short time frame with minimal disruption and changes to the systems and configurations that they had. They were also able to leverage the Azure migration program to gain the support they needed to do this rapidly. They really took advantage of the benefits of AVS. The things they shared with me are things like the speed of migration, the ability to shift to a flexible, pay-as-you-use-it OpEx model, the ability to be agile and ramp up and down their IT infrastructure needs in a secure and reliable cloud environment way as they needed, and the ability to extend support for Windows 2008 and SQL 2008 because they were now part of Azure. And they also gained cost visibility on a per business unit and a per application stack basis into what they were actually using and who was using it. So I really want to leave you with 3 key takeaways. The first is that AVS is Azure. It's a first-party service sold and supported by Microsoft in partnership with VMware. We've done a tremendous amount of work to make it as integrated with Azure as possible and allow you to take advantage of all the great Azure capabilities for your VMware workloads that you bring to AVS. It's available in 10 regions today, and that list is growing rapidly. It really is the best place for you to be able to rapidly bring your VMware estate to the cloud. The second point I want to make is that Azure is the best cloud for your VMware workloads. It really is something that we've invested in deeply in partnership with VMware. We provide extended support for older versions of things like Windows and SQL Server, as well as being able to take advantage of our licensing programs for Windows and SQL Server workloads. And the third is that it's available today. This thing is real, customers are running on it, and it's ready. Well, you can learn more about AVS at aka.ms/avs. You can see more about AVS. We have some great videos and demos up on aka.ms/avs mechanics. And depending upon when you're watching this, we have our upcoming AVS digital event coming. You can register for that at aka.ms/avs digital. With that, I want to thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on AVS on Azure. Thank you very much.